the Watauga Arts Council with your host, Cherry Johnson, serving arts in Watauga County for more than 30 years.
Hi, I'm Cherry Johnson with Watauga County Arts Council, and I'll bet you find what we've got around me here just absolutely fascinating, or I certainly do. And the creators of this amazing work around me is these two folks with me. This is Keith Lambert.
Hello.
And Willie Baucom.
Hi.
And they have one of two studios called Shipyard Earthworks. You have an East studio and a West studio.
That's correct.
Your West studio is located in Meat Camp.
I'm loving it.
And we're delighted that you've got an established place here in Watauga County, that you've become part of Watauga County. And then you also have another studio, the East Studio in Beaufort.
That's correct.
Yes,
down on the coast. And I first met Keith and Willie because that the Apple Cart building, which has just been opened on the 105 bypass, has been a work in progress for quite a while. At least 3 years ago.
Yes.
3 years, yes.
I was contacted by Chris Turner and his folks over at the Apple Cart folks to invite me and some other arts-minded people in to help them choose an artist or artists to do a work of art in the new building. At that time, there was a stipend allotted within the money that was laid aside for this building that provided for public art and was specified for public art. So we had a budget that we could put specifically to art, which was amazingly wonderful luxury to be able to do. Mm-hmm. So we got to put out a call for proposals. We had quite a few that came in from all over. And these two really impressed us with their amazing clay sculptures and clay wall sculptures and clay, all kinds of things. And you came in with an idea, and then we grew the idea.
Yeah, it was ever-changing, wonderful, inventive things that happened, yes.
So what happened is once you guys were selected, then the committee started talking about, now what would we like? And they started making a punch list.
Oh, yeah.
And it grew.
And it got very long. We wanted everything.
Of ideas.
Yeah, and it was really to put it together and make it work together was a challenge, but we were so happy with it when we got all of it together because it does show the history of transportation and the history of Watauga County.
Yeah, it's unique to us.
It's unique.
Yes.
And actually what we used as a criteria to select them was a series of works they had done in Morehead City, or one of the things that we used as a criteria was this something called the Fish Walk down in Morehead City, and you guys are the creators of the Fish Walk, as in the actual physical creators of the work.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is a series of markers that commemorate the different fish of that area. Is that correct?
The fish that are caught off the charter boats.
And you were telling me why they were doing this. Why did they have this fish walk?
I'll let you explain.
Well, I think it's interesting because people would come to Morehead and, of course, the good seafood restaurants and enjoy the seafood and enjoy looking at the sound and the boats. But then they'd get in the car and go somewhere else. And there was a real motivation for some of the merchants to have a walking situation that would go from one type fish to another. In fact, there's a map there's 14 of them that goes from one area of Morehead City from the waterfront over to Arundel Street, and it enabled people to walk around and pass the shops and stores and spend some time in Morehead City without just coming and eating and running, and this has been a real success.
The reason I bring that up is because to me it's really important for people to recognize that the arts do a lot more than just beautify the environment.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
You know, they create a motivation for economic development, for a lot of other education. A lot of things happen because of the arts.
Yeah.
And we can use the arts to our advantage in so many ways, and they just can make things happen in our communities that you might think of as just being another set of problems altogether, and actually the arts are the solution.
It is, and it causes people to stop and think and look at things that are around them, and we have interaction with our markers in Morehead because some of them are low profile that enables kids to do rubbings on them, which is interactive. They can lay a piece of paper on it and take a waxy crayon and do rubbings and put them together, and we encourage this because these are high-fi stoneware and are very tough to stand up, and so we're happy for kids to have interaction. We've seen this quite often, and kids just enjoy it, and parents enjoy it. And our fish have to be fairly accurate, being on the waterfront next to where they catch these fish, so we can't just do a simulation of what the fish looks like.
But the fishermen actually let me on the boat, and I get to handle their fish.
So you really get a feel for
I really do. And that is a real treat for them to let this woman come on and just play around with the catch of the day, and then I'll go back and do my drawings.
And you actually create the pieces.
Yeah. Right.
And then this is an example. This is yours, Willie?
This is mine,
This is an example of the three-dimensional degree. I mean, you know, it's just I don't know where to go here. It's just so astounding the way that you add so much character to it. It's more than just a horse. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You've really taken it and interpreted. There's a lot of energy. There's a lot of, you know, color and enthusiasm in this horse. You know
I'm excited about it. We have the wild horses on the coast, but we also, all of our neighbors up at Meat Camp. I mean, some of the neighbors just came on horseback last night.
Yeah, they were having a great time.
So, you got your own herd of horses.
Oh yeah. They're all around us, and we love it.
I've got 11 in this series. And it starts from the flat wall relief pieces like this that'll be against a wall. And then I'll probably actually add some wormy chestnut from Meat Camp, the house that we were working on, to the back of it. But then they'll come out more three-dimensional. So they'll start on the back side of a wall and then come out into an environment.
Where's this going to end up?
I don't know. This is every now and then I get to do something that I want to do. And a lot of times, you know, we work on the big commissions and we're told what, you know, everybody wants. But if I get a break, ever so often, I get something for me. And so I've been wanting to do horses for quite some time. So after Apple Cart, I started working on my herd. And then I'm starting up at Mead Camp doing fish warriors. So that'll be large 5-6 foot figures with fish coming out of heads, and it can be mountain trout. You know, it can be, there's a lot of fish. They throw in fish, you know, from a fishery. What is it?
The fishery they bring in, and they actually put the hatchery fish into Meat Camp Creek, and. It's so funny when they pull up with the truck with a big basket and toss them over the bridge. They know Willie because she's out there going, yay, 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 fish. And now they wave and grin.
They look for us.
And hold up the big ones and say, and then throw it in. And it's a real show.
So you've carried the fish back and forth from coast to coast.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. I love for fish. So it's everywhere. Exactly.
So now, Willie, your work is very more than bas-relief. I mean, it's just very sculptural in its dimension. And this is a piece of stone that is absolutely gorgeous that you've mounted this on, and it fits this piece so well. And the wormy chestnut is going to. So you're incorporating nature into your pieces in that way.
Exactly.
Now I'm looking at these pieces that Keith has done, and I know that you worked together on the Apple Cart project.
Oh, we did. Yes.
But this is like a whole different personality.
Yeah, you know, I try to separate the two. You know, I do a lot of sculpture, a lot of stone, marble pieces, and wood pieces, but then I have a great love of function. And I like things that people can use and that we can use and that can be withstand the use of time. And so I'm very much interested in bowls and casseroles and colanders and coffee cups and all these utilitarian things, which is a whole different side of me. And then when I do the sculpture, that most of the times they're somewhat abstract, related to nature, but not totally a function, only a visual function. So I'm really relying on these traditional forms and shapes to be used. And all my pieces are high fire stoneware, so they are very oven, microwave, and all those wonderful luxury things that make these functional pieces.
That's great. And you do wheel pottery.
These are wheel, I got a kick wheel and an electric wheel, and I use them both. A lot of my pieces are wood-fired and with a slight salt glazing to them.
Interesting.
Which gives them a texture, like this piece, for instance.
Yes, that is really
Which gives you a textured surface. And
then I'm looking at this piece that's in front of me here, and I'm seeing a definite Asian influence to the design and the
I always have been really marveled by Oriental pottery and their brushwork in particular. And so I was invited to come to Korea and throw and work at the Celadon Festival in South Korea, and really got involved with the freshness and beauty of the Oriental pots. So this has been a tremendous push for me to go in somewhat a direction. I love footed bowls because I like the idea of them not coming out of the table, but sitting on the table, the airness that happens around them. I like making the brushes, which are made out of deer tail. My friends are deer hunters, so they bring me all their scraps, and I roll them into sections and then put them in bamboo handles.
Handmade brushes.
And make my brushes. And so it gives me a fresh quality that is very, I think, very Oriental looking.
It is, and also one thing that you cannot see on the camera is that there's a design etched into the pot. Then he's gone back with the glazes and worked that design and picked it up and taken it yet another step.
Layers. And you know, in pottery, I think it's really good to try to create a dimension in it where it's not an opaque glaze that kind of just sits on top, but a series of transparent glazes that gives you a certain, it's like in a painting where you want to create 4 or 5 different levels of movement through the canvas. And the clay, even though it's a different material, you'd really like to create that same illusion as well.
Now, you've mentioned going to Korea. Y'all have traveled around the world, really, with your art. We were talking about this a few moments ago, how that you've been to so many different countries because your art took you there.
Yes.
So
we started out on our honeymoon teaching and working in Italy, in Cortona, Italy, and spent the summer there.
And that's where you got the marker concept.
That's where we got the Stations of the Cross.
Stations of the Cross.
Our studio, the sculpture studio, was at the top of the hill above Cortona, and for us at first it was a struggle getting up, but the nice thing was they had 12 Stations of the Cross going to the cathedral above us, and you get to stop and take a break, and then you go get your wind back and you go to the next marker, take another break. So we took that idea of stopping, pausing, enjoying it for just a moment. It doesn't have to be something grand, and you know, just a moment. A marker is something just about a moment in time.
It gives you a moment to contemplate.
Exactly, exactly.
And so something to think about from there to the next.
Exactly.
And truly,
that's one of the things in Morehead City that they did a green thing that you can go between markers, and you know it's a half a mile walk or run. It might be a mile or 2 miles from, you know, one fish to another fish that you have it marked out and kind of mapped out.
Right.
So, you know, that's an interesting way of doing these.
That's so fascinating. Now, your Shipyard Earthworks studios, you have one down on the coast, one up here in the mountains, and you are opening your studios in our studio and gallery hop.
That's right.
We're excited about that. We're excited about working with the Arts Council because they give so much goodness to the art programs and things around the county, and have for a long time. So we always encourage the support of the Arts Council and everyone that's involved. And of course, we're really happy to be part of the Watauga Arts Council.
And I think folks are going to be so fascinated to get to come and see it actually where it's happening.
Yeah,
exactly.
You know,
they will see us working. I'm working on a new series called Fish Warriors, and so that will be in one area, and it might not be what you might think, you know, the process would include.
Exactly.
So they will get to see my area. That Keith will be in another area, and so it's we like opening it up. We're enough of extroverts that people coming in just makes us happy.
We enjoy people coming and stopping and looking and asking questions, and we're always there to encourage the arts, and also to try and develop a really appreciation of individual artists that work and do the best work they can.
Well, and I think often people don't don't realize how much goes into a piece of art.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
There's so
Oh,
much to
yes.
the whole process,
Yeah.
so much more than you might realize. So this gives people an opportunity to not only go and learn about it and experience it and see it, but maybe get inspired to start taking it out themselves and doing some
That
themselves.
would be great.
Exactly, and this is a good encouragement, and I think they will also understand that making all this art and stuff is not always easy, nor is it always fun, but in the end process it becomes worth all the effort that you
Right.
put into it.
Very
And the
fulfilling.
excitement. Oh, yes.
Oh yeah. So the two of you, what's the future?
Continuing on. That's
Keep it on going.
keeping on
Keep on
playing in the
working
mud.
and keep on trying different things and exploring all the possibilities that are in art and in ourselves, because it is a union between yourself and materials, and to try to develop our abilities to make things as best we can. And
A
have
good
the spirit.
day is when we get to work in our studios and then hose each other down, get the mud off of each
Before you
other.
go in the house.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And start again the next day, you know,
Yeah.
going out, working in the mud,
Yeah.
hosing each other down, having a good night together. So
That's great.
that's a pretty good life, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
y'all are very fortunate, but that both of you are artists.
Well, yeah, it works out very well because we can show each other what we're working on and criticize each other without being, oh, you don't like this? Why don't you like this? You know, and then we discuss each other's work to a degree that it really helps to motivate us in different directions.
And I'm
too.
sure it has enhanced the development of your craft. You know,
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
because
Oh,
we get to
sure,
critique
sure.
each other.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, we're
And then
there.
we listen to what we want to and not what.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
We take all that good advice
exactly
and take out what really we
Yeah.
want and then go on. Yes.
that is so cool.
We are still a couple.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You are a very inspiring couple in so many different ways, and I'm just really excited that you're part of our community.
We're excited about being in this area. We've always loved this area. And we're both North Carolinians, so
Yes.
we know the state. We know every
do.
part. And, we're
And I have
taught in
family up here.
many
so-
parts of the state. I mean, UNCG in Greensboro and Gaston College and Wilmington we've taught, and even in Beaufort, after we kind of semi-retired from teaching, we still carry on classes with the Arts Council there and the community college, which
We're just going to have to get you more and more and more involved up here.
I love it.
We're ready.
Oh, we're ready.
We don't stop working.
No,
You spend the first 2 weeks of each month in the west, and then the other 2 months in the 2 weeks of the month in the east.
That's
yes,
right.
Yeah.
we're trying to split our time. We do have a lot of people that come to our shop and gallery in Beaufort, so we're trying to split the time up. And this is the first year that we really tried to do this, and we're going to just have to play it by ear and see how it works.
Because I've never heard of anyone else doing that, so I think that's a really
No,
interesting concept.
and I think for people to know that we're open, we have to make a certain schedule. So, you know,
Yes, you're
if they
right.
drive out to meet camp, we want to be open because it is a little distance from downtown Boone, 10 miles. But
Well, we'll post your website and your phone number up
Yeah.
so folks can double check before they make the drive. Not that
Sure,
it's not
sure.
a beautiful drive, but
Oh,
you know.
and we're at the base of Elk Knob Park, so that's just right above us.
Right.
So it's a beautiful drive out
you know
there.
that's fertile ground for some markers.
Oh, I love that. That's good fertile ground.
I've been thinking
Yeah.
about this. Don't you worry.
you know, we got lost one night in coming from Siena driving, and we didn't drive a whole lot, and we got lost on the way back to Cortona, and we went through the hills which are south of Florence, and there was no lights, and we began to see these mile markers that was probably from Roman days, and we're getting a little nervous because we're looking at the gas needle and we think, are we ever going to go get down on the autostrada, because there was no exits down to it. So we finally crossed over to the main road, and we're able to get back to Cortana. So we know the importance of markers. They
Yes.
offer a little bit of reassurance that someone's been there before.
But your markers, that's true. But your markers don't just give miles.
No,
they
no.
tell stories.
They're storytellers.
Yes.
They are. This is
And we
true.
do that.
And we do that, yeah.
Well, just wait. There's going to be more coming. I can assure you of that.
That's
We'll
good.
be back to talk about it as we develop it, as we brew it. And you know, you can be part of this. All you have to do is get to know them, go out for the studio crawl, get involved with the Arts Council, check our website and their website. There's just so much that you can be involved in the arts in Watauga County, and so all over the country. But Watauga County is very blessed. We've got a whole lot of it.
Yes.
And so check our website, watauga-arts.org, for this and a lot more.
Glad to see you.
The Watauga Arts Council with your host, Cherry Johnson, serving arts in Watauga County for more than 30 years.